Hi, welcome back with another movie explanation. Today, I'm going to explain a comedy film called Teen Wolf. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The film opens with a teenager named Scott playing basketball at a school. Scott's teammates are not that good at playing basketball. After the match, they go to the locker room. The coach, whose name is Finstock, tells him that they should not take the game seriously. You have played well, and this is just the first match of the season. Seeing this behavior of the coach, we know that the coach doesn't take the game seriously. He is the guy who always relaxes and chills. Scott gets long hair on his chest. He plucks it out and takes a bath. After this, Scott goes to the coach and tells him he doesn't want to play basketball anymore because of some personal reasons. Coach Finstock convinces Scott to play for the team. Scott agrees to it and thinks of playing basketball for a while. In the next scene, Scott walks out of school and goes to the place he works part-time. He walks on the street with his friend Boof. He tells her that he hates playing basketball and he is not that good at it. He says that he is not good at studies either. Boof says to relax, but he tells her that he does not want to work in a hardware store for the rest of his life, just like his father. He asks Boof what Pamela thinks about him. Scott likes the girl named Pamela. Boof tells him that he deserves someone better than Pamela and leaves saying meet you at the party. After this, Scott goes back to his father's hardware store where he works part-time. He sees a boy who just picked up a whistle, and the boy starts to whistle with it. Scott hears it much more louder than any other normal human being. Scott starts to hear his heart pounding more clearly. He goes to the boy and takes the whistle from him. The boy says that the whistle is not working fine. After this, Scott goes to his school to deliver some materials for the theater club. While taking all the things in his hands towards the theater, the vice principal of the school, whose name is Dawn, sees him and does not help him at all. Scott somehow takes all the things to the theater. In the theater, he sees Pamela, the girl he has a crush on, practicing her lines for a drama. Scott asks her if she's free to come to the party with him. Meanwhile, the opposite basketball team player Mick comes to Pamela and makes fun of Scott. Pamela laughs. After this, she tells Scott that she is going to the party with Mick. This shows that Pamela is Mick's girlfriend. In the night, Scott talks to his father on the dinner table. He tells him that he wants to quit the basketball team and join the theater club. Scott's father, Harold Howard, tries to explain to him why he should stay in the basketball team, but Scott's friend Styles comes to his house and interrupts Howard's conversation with Scott. After this, they go out and try to buy beer from a store nearby, but the store owner asks for an ID because he's just a teenager and they don't sell beer to teenagers. The store owner asks for an ID from Scott repeatedly. Scott gets angry. His eyes turn red in color, and he asks the store owner to give him the beer. The store owner gets scared and gives him the beer. Soon, Scott goes in the can with his. They all drink beer and chill on the backside of the van. They were heading to the party. They go to the party. In the party, they play a game. The people write the names of boys and girls and make slips with them. And they tell everyone that the girl who gets a slip with the boy's name has to get intimate with him. While doing this, they ask Boof whose name she got. She says Scott, but her slip doesn't have Scott's name. This shows that she likes Scott. After this, both Scott and Boof go into a locker and start to kiss. While kissing, Scott's nails get into Book's skin. She tells him to stop, but he doesn't stop. Styles opens the locker and tells him to come out. Here, we can see that Scott has torn down Book's dress with his nails like a wild animal. After the party, Scott goes home. He goes to the bathroom because he feels sick. He sees himself in the mirror. He slowly gets teeth like wolf and hair and nails, just like a wolf. Now, he has turned into a werewolf due to the effect of a full moon. Scott's father knocks on the door. He opens the door and sees his father with a lot of hair on his face and teeth like a werewolf. Scott's father explains to him that they are wolves. Not everyone who is born in family can turn into werewolves, so he didn't tell him about it. The next morning, Scott turns back into a human and sees his father who has also turned back into a human. After this, he goes to school. While sitting in class, his teacher asks him to write an answer on the board. Scott gets sick and runs out of the room. He goes to the boys' restroom and sees himself in the mirror. Scott realizes that he is turning into a werewolf again. He controls his transformation. The vice principal comes to see if he's doing fine. In the next scene, Scott goes to his friend Styles' house. They talk in his garage. Scott tells Style everything. He tells him that he is a werewolf. Style does not believe him, and he thinks it's a joke. Scott turns into a werewolf, and Styles gets scared seeing Scott all hairy and looking like a wolf. Scott tells him there's something to be afraid of. Styles starts to loosen up. Next day, Scott and his teammate go to play another game of basketball in the season. The teammates ask the coach what strategy to use in the game. He tells them that they don't need to use a strategy. He tells them to play it cool. They start to lose the game to the opposite team. But suddenly, out of nowhere, Scott turns into a werewolf. Everyone is shocked to see Scott turn into a werewolf, but Scott continues to play the game. He starts to play very well from the moment he turned into a werewolf. Seeing Scott play very well, his teammates get inspired and play with him. At the end, Scott's team win the basketball game. After winning the game, Scott becomes a popular kid in school. Everyone starts to like him. Even Pamela starts to like him, and she talks to him. She tells him to join the drama club. Scott agrees to joining the drama club as soon as Pamela asks him, because he has always had a crush on her. After this, Scott goes to the changing room to call for Pamela for practice. He sees her changing clothes. Pamela comes closer to Scott, and they start to get intimate. The next morning, Scott and Pamela go to play bowling in the nearby gaming club. They play bowling. Scott wins all the games. Pamela kisses him in front of Mike, the opposite team player, to make him feel jealous. Mike gets furious to see his girlfriend Pamela kissing Scott. He goes to Scott and says you look like a mop with all the hair on your face. He makes fun of him for being a werewolf. After this, Scott and Pamela go home by walking. Scott leaves Pamela at her house. Before she goes back in, he asks her to come to the dance party with him. Pamela tells Scott that Mike is her boyfriend, and she will go to the dance party with him. Scott feels sad to hear this. The next morning, Scott gets ready to go to school. He comes out of the house and sees Boof waiting for him. He walks to school with Boof. Scott asks Boof to come to the dance party with him. She says yes, but on one condition. She says she will go with him only if he dances with her. Scott says he will dance with her. In the night, Scott gets ready and goes to the school dance party. There, he meets Boof. Scott turns into a werewolf and dances like a professional dancer. Seeing this, everyone gets excited and dance like they are on fire. Soon, Boof takes Scott aside. He turns back into a human and they kiss. They go back to the dance floor. Seeing Scott as a human, Mike comes to him and hits him on the face. He warns him to stay away from his girlfriend Pamela. Scott gets angry and his eyes turn red in color. Scott turns into a werewolf and fights Mike. The vice principal Dawn takes Scott outside and warns him that he will suspend him. Then, Scott's father comes to school and tells Scott to leave. Harold talks to Dawn. He warns him to stay away from his son. Dawn gets scared. The next day, Scott goes to the final basketball match and tells everyone that he will be playing in his human form and he won't turn into a wolf this time. Scott's team gets equal points as the opposite team by trying very hard. In the end, Scott shoots the game-winning point and makes his team win the basketball championship. After this, Boof kisses Scott. The film ends here. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. Stay safe and never forget, you are awesome.